BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy hoy, and welcome back to me. My American colleagues at work have stopped making unreasonable demands of me, which means I can podcast this week. Yay! I'm Dan, I'm one of your hosts. It's BRB UK, it's episode 510. Hope you're all well. Hope you're staying off the news. Hope you're not doom scrolling, because all of that is very bad for you. But hey, look, life goes on, and that's what this podcast is here for. So I'm joined by Coleman. Say hello, Coleman.
Hi.
Look at you with your cheeky little underground renegade podcast last week.
Yeah, it's had to get a podcast ready for EGX. Didn't want the listeners going without. Bleezy's been asking for ages to come back on. Ed's been asking for ages to come back on. Made sense.
Carnage ensued, indeed.
Enjoyed
so
it.
which means that Timothy Hibbs is also back. Hello, Timothy.
Hello. Not 100%, no.
Yeah, I heard rumours you've got the old man flu going on, mate.
Well, I think it's just a cold.
Con cold.
Con cold, I believe. I very rarely get through an autumnal or winter gaming event without coming away with some disease. Despite taking some precautions,
Lovely.
I am ill.
Wow, I like how you're not narrowing that down to the respiratory system, those diseases.
No, it was hepatitis last time.
Wow.
Caught it off a Stadia controller.
Really? Well, it's good. Well, they've been put down, I've just heard.
Yeah.
A moment.
Yeah.
Can we just have an appropriate length of a moment of silence for Stadia? Anyway,
Yeah, there we go.
so
First Coolio, now
I mean,
this.
we all saw this coming, I think is fair to say. And, it's a shame. And I think if anyone could have made it work, I really honestly thought Google had the
Microsoft.
clout to do it. But Microsoft had kind of brought it with Project xCloud. So, it is what it is. I think it was good that it disrupted everything. But, yeah.
I think
Sorry,
it's good
Google.
that they're offering refunds. I think that's good.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For how much?
Any purchases.
Any purchases?
Well, game purchases. I don't know if that's like subscription purchases
Yeah, I
and
don't know about
stuff.
hardware, but games, yes.
Well, do you know what? I would be happy to tell you what, Google, we'll call it quits if you unlock the controller and allow me to use it with something other than Stadia, because it's a lovely controller.
Pretty sure you can do that now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do I have to be all edgy, and do I have to learn how to be a elite hacker?
Yeah, you got to be a
Do
cool
that.
net runner like me.
You are a cool net runner. It's what
I
I've
am a
always
cool
thought
net runner.
when I see you, Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, that guy, cool net runner, possibly got a cybernetic left testicle, is what I think.
Tis true.
It's
That's
got
how I do my
18
quick
terabytes
hacks.
of storage in there.
If you ever see my hand in my pocket for too long, it's I'm quick hacking.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really? Is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm.
And the defense rests, my lad.
I mean, it didn't float the last time I was in a shop.
What? Your testicle?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. Okay, because that's normal. It's normal for your testicle not to
What's
be
the thing I have to say
floating
to
about in
end
midair.
the bit?
I don't know. You haven't said it yet. I'll know when I hear it.
Okay, that's
I
punk.
think that's it. I think the despondent.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you stop
Okay.
this?
That's
All right, we'll do
cyberpunk, baby.
cyber junk. So, have you got anything cybernetic that we should know about, Tim? Any enhancements?
I mean, I feel currently like I've been hacked and I'm currently dehanced through to illness. Like,
Right.
downloading a virus is
Right.
not good for persons or computers.
Oh, you shouldn't do that.
No,
I mean,
I
you
don't
would steal a
recommend
car, right?
no. You wouldn't download
Good.
COVID.
You could download the genetic sequence of it, but that's
What?
That sounds
yeah,
like a
but
bad
what
idea
was
as
all
well,
these
to be
5G towers about?
Exactly,
Those 5G
Dan.
towers.
Explain
Yes,
that
'cause-
one,
yeah.
doctor.
All of the woes of the world are clearly due to 5G towers, aren't they?
Correct.
All I'm saying is the
Absolutely
world was a better
nothing to
place
do.
before 5G. That's definite objective truth. That so can't argue.
Well, I think the world was a better place.
Better,
for a
flatter
number-
place.
not that long ago.
If
It
we
was-
stayed
No,
on 4G,
Tim,
we'd have slower internet and we'd still have the Queen.
Yeah,
That's
we
what she
would.
would have wanted.
Well, she went, 5G, that is too many Gs for one. One's going to pop her clogs. Toodles.
I'm going to cark it now. I'm off.
One's just too old to deal with the sick download speeds one is now getting on one's phone.
Coolio, what are you doing here?
Really? Anyway, God rest
You
you.
can disrespect the Queen. Don't
Queen Liz.
disrespect Coolio, though. Come on, that's a
Coolio.
step too far.
Or the Google
this
Stadia.
is true.
They're both,
Wow.
they're both in heaven
You can
playing the
disrespect
Stadia.
that, that's fine.
Yep.
Stadia's gone to be with
Right.
the Queen and Coolio.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's a pairing, isn't it? The Queen
Yeah.
and Coolio.
I'd watch it. I'd buy that album.
Chilling out on a cloud next to St. Peter, going, all right, mate, how's it going?
Sure is a lot of
Would you
data
like to
stored in
rip
this
us in?
thing.
I always knew my private affairs were stored in the cloud. Would you like to rip a sick bong with me?
It's what she would have wanted.
Absolutely.
Now that's
Absolutely.
something I would queue to see, but hey.
Yes, indeed. Stuff's been happening. Coleman, you went to Eurogamer.
So
Do you
Tim,
want to talk about that, or do you want to quickly... did you? You went as well, did you?
Only
Scam?
half as much as Coleman
do-
did and got twice as ill, but hey.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, we've already talked about that. The reasons why. Yeah. Do you want to talk about what we've done played first? So then you've got a clear agenda to burble on about EGX.
Yeah, totally. Go for it.
All right. Okay. So I have been playing the hit internet sensation that if my mind control has worked, you might have heard somewhere near the intro of this here podcast. I've been playing Trombone Champ. It's amazing. It is
All the cool
absolutely
kids
amazing.
are talking about this game at the moment, Dan.
And I am one of those cool kids. It is so it's like Guitar Hero, but with a trombone.
Right.
That's all you really need to know. It looks like kind of you're essentially there's baboons involved for some reason that I'm not entirely sure about, but basically you play the trombone. People think you're a neat guy or girl because you play the trombone. That levels you up. Baboons happen. And you continue playing the trombone.
Okay. Do baboons only happen when you're doing well, or is that just a baboon's reward for
there is a separate
good trombone playing?
There's a separate page where you can learn about baboons in the game. I just think the guy who made the game loves baboons.
Just like it's a baboon. Fine. It's okay.
Loves a baboon. Loves them.
Yeah.
There's so the game is available. It's on Steam at the moment, as far as I know. I don't think it's available on anything else. I have managed to get to play on my Steam Deck, which is where if you're watching the video of this, that's where the footage is captured from. And it's a very simple game, very simple premise. It's Guitar Hero with a trombone, and it's just very silly and hilarious. And the visual styling, it's like you've almost got like a Mii lookalike, like a Nintendo Mii character, which you can't customize yet, but No, I can't customize it to me. It's the closest one to me I could find in the video. And it's the game that you would expect Shigeru Miyamoto to do if he'd had some kind of severe life-altering breakdown.
Right?
I mean,
it's very strange.
It does look very. What was it Wii Music?
Yes, it's like that.
The really bad
that kind of styling.
It looks like
I
that,
think
but
consciously bad.
Yeah, it's that style, but it looks like Guitar Hero, but trombones. It's
just
got the little wavy line that you're following along. Yeah,
and there's a good selection of songs. I wouldn't say there's any chart-topping hits particularly there. It tends to lend itself to the kind of music which you would play with the trombone. But God Save the King, as it now is on there, and it is
that's
called
the remix.
God Save the King.
What about Gangster's Paradise, Dan?
The Redux. Not very friendly for trombones, it turns out.
Wasted opportunity.
So, not respecting the Coolio.
No.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I did like, so while you're playing the national anthem, it's flashing the Union Jack in the background, like nice waving flag. So and lots of like British iconography, and then when you get to the very end of it, it flashes up a fried breakfast.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like here's some beans.
A full English.
So it is a decidedly silly, decidedly stupid game. It's more of, I'm not saying it's necessarily going to have the lasting appeal of say Guitar Hero. I think it's a gimmick. It knows it's a gimmick. It's not quite priced at a gimmick price at the moment. It was £12 on Steam, which in retrospect I slightly regret. I think 6 would have been nicer. But yeah, it's a wonderfully silly game, and I hope they continue adding stuff to it because I will be the champiest of trombone champs. That's what I will be. The unstoppable warrior of trombone champiness.
I mean, they've got a roadmap out.
They certainly have.
They got improvements coming. Check that out later. I think it's already on my wish list. I was just waiting to find out if it played on Steam Deck.
It does play on Steam Deck. Whoa, let's rewind that. Have you got a Mrs. Deek coming, mate?
Maybe. Or maybe I've already got one.
Have you?
I may have seen his.
Maybe Tim. Yeah, it's downstairs.
You may have seen his Mrs. Deek.
I may have placed it in Tim's hands.
He may have done.
So he could feel the weight in the girth.
Both of my hands, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
both of them?
Both hands.
There was a point where me and Tim went out for lunch at the Excel, and then to get back in, if you've got a bag, you have to have your bag searched. And the guy, like, on the first day I went in, they'd literally kind of just shuffle things about and go, yeah, you're fine, go in. And then that day he decided to like go rifle through my bag and then saw the Steam Deck package and took it out. And he's like, what is this? I was like, that's my Deek. Please get your hands off my Deek. I need that back.
You enjoying it?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Isn't it? Which model did you go for in the end?
The top one.
Probably talked about. Top one. Good lad.
Yeah, for
Mrs.
Us, it was the cheapest one. They
yes,
all look the same.
Gig one. Yes,
and
they do.
And it was £80.
Yes. I would be lying if I said I hadn't constructed similar stories.
Maybe fudged the numbers slightly. This is my Switch. It just looks like it's just bigger. I put new Joy-Cons on it.
Yeah,
I managed to get away with I managed to get away with my Steam Deck and my Switch being in the same room when my missus was aware they were both there, and she didn't pick up on it. So I might have got away with it.
So but she might have seen you playing it and gone, wow, I think we need to get you a new one of them. The fans have got really loud.
Yeah, might be it. But yeah, no, it's such a great device. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Trombone Champ, yes, you can play it on your Deek. And something else you can play on your Deek that I'm a bit of a Johnny-come-lately to probably getting into this is I finally let Elden Ring sink its fangs into me. I kind of bounced off it pretty hard a couple of times early on, but I've actually gave it a couple of hours to properly get into it over the weekend, and yeah, I'm hooked.
How far in are you?
I am
23 minutes.
Not that far at all. I'm on the second area, and I'm just starting to explore. I've spent a lot of time in Limgrave just looking around, making sure I'd found all the dungeons, that I've got all the collectibles there. Got my twin blade.
Yeah, that's very good.
And am now just starting to explore dungeons in the second area. Trundled up to the castle, got my arse handed to me. I decided to go for a bit more wandering about.
Right.
It's great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's very good. You've barely scratched the surface.
I'm still
though,
feeling I'm feeling very bewildered by everything still.
Right. Don't try and fight everything.
It's like there's lots of things I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sneaking, great. Love sneaking.
Mm-hmm.
Hide in a bush. That's my special skill.
Stab from behind.
Bears and dragons. Watch out for them things.
Yeah, they're big. I saw one of them. I was just trundling along. One landed in front of me, nearly my pants inside out.
Nice.
I was all right, I'm going to go in that other direction now. See you, Mr. Dragon. Bye. It's good fun.
Reminds me when you're riding off
on that, keep going for a while.
On your horse of the Brave Sir Robin bit from Monty Python and Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah.
Brave Sir Robin ran
away. Exactly. There's a lot of that going on. But actually, Elden Ring does play pretty well on your Deek.
Yeah, I've heard, but the apparently the font is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It is. And, obviously you're turning all your graphic settings to low and just set your expectations. You can still play at a solid 40 frames a second. So it's not quite as responsive as the full fat experience, but it still looks pretty good on a tiny little screen on your Mrs. Deek.
I did try to set up because I have a copy of Cyberpunk on GOG. So I went through Heroic Installer and I set that up and I've installed it. And then when I booted it up, I went, oh no, to use your cross saves, you need to boot it off of GOG. You can't boot it off of Heroic. I think last week Cyberpunk was £25 on Steam, and I was like, do you know what? I'll double dip, I'll triple dip, I guess, and I'll pick it up.
You
And then
make it go
no, I
away,
didn't,
Money.
because I logged in and it was back up to £50. So I'm just not playing Cyberpunk on it.
Oh, probably better interface wise and stuff. But
Anywho, that's what I've done. Played. As you can tell, as ever, I have my fingers on the non-existent pulse of Zeitgeist gaming. So
yeah, if I can jump in quickly, there's one game that I've been playing this week that I was looking forward to for quite some
You've
time.
never been able to jump in quickly.
Well, we'll try, because I'll try and come
If I
back
can
to this
jump in for half an hour.
a bit more next week. But I've been playing Bear and Breakfast on Switch, and one of the first things I'll say is something you just mentioned about Elden Ring as well, and that is the font. The font on this is a big problem. I imagine it would be the same if you're playing it on your Steam Deck, but definitely the case on Switch. When you're playing in handheld mode, some of the interface is near impossible to read. Putting purple and green on top of dark backgrounds is a bad recipe.
it's an accessibility nightmare.
Yeah, and there are a few other things that I think really need to be tidied up about the Switch interface particularly. Anyone doesn't know, Bear and Breakfast is a game where you are a bear managing a bed and breakfast or several bed and breakfasts across different regions. It's a very cutesy management sim where, you have to take charge of various different bed and breakfasts, book guests in, actually build the rooms to start with, book guests in, and then kind of make sure that the rooms are decorated and have enough facilities to match the needs of your guests that are coming through. And all the other characters that you encounter in the game are anthropomorphic animals like yourself, being the bear. But most of the other characters, or a lot of the other characters, are animals. But some of them are human, and all the people you're booking into the bed and breakfasts are human as well, basically. But none of the humans can actually understand you as a bear. They all pretend to, apart from one, the actual. Sorry, what's your question, Dan?
Do you eat any of the humans?
Not so far. You do cook food for them. And
no, that's not the same as eating.
Not the same. And I may come back to it in more detail next week.
No.
But just the overview is I absolutely love the game. I've been playing it for hours. There are major problems with the font. Like, it's almost impossible to read some of the crucial information about the game when playing in handheld mode. And that could really do with sorting out.
You're a bear. These are some humans. Look after them.
There's also just some interface things in terms of, I think this would make a lot more sense when you are clicking it with a mouse rather than the interface that they've adapted and not done a totally brilliant job of adapting. I can understand why they've gone this way, but you've got various panes that you can kind of flick through, but it's not always obvious which pane you're on, and backing out sometimes is just one extra button. Press of the B button and you'll lose all the thing that you're currently in the middle of doing. It can be a pain, basically. But I absolutely love the game. It's really good fun. It's really silly. The humor's really good. And it's definitely worth having a look at. I do hope that they revisit things and rebalance a bit of the interface stuff and the problems they've got with it. But it's a really fun, enjoyable game. It may just be better off playing it in non-handheld mode on the Switch or playing it on PC, where PC is probably the best bet because the interface is designed for keyboard and mouse, basically. But other than that, I really enjoy it. So it's kind of a recommend with a caveat.
Recommend with a caveat.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love caveats.
Yeah,
they go along great with Bear and Breakfast.
They do. Little caveat on a bleenie. You know, you live in life then, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of with some little bit of dill, very nice. Little bit of lemon on top, lovely.
What's the next big game out? Was it Bear and Breakfast?
I mean,
yes,
it was before
that's the only
Bear
one
and Breakfast.
that's actually sticking to it. Yeah,
well, we've had Monkey Island.
All the other games have been delayed.
Yeah. God of War's November. So
God of War,
just over a month away. There is a few other things.
God of
before
War
then as well,
and Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Gotham Knights is before God of War, I think. and then something.
just seeing
one
what I'm
other
looking
game
forward to
after that
getting.
as well. When is Sparks
Have,
of
have,
Top?
have we collectively got? Have we
I don't care.
collectively got any of the games we were looking forward to? Are any of them actually releasing now this year?
Isn't
I
there
will
another
have
one that
to-
got delayed this week? But Skull and
think so.
Bones got delayed this week. That was it. That wasn't any of our looking forward.
Yeah.
to it, so then-
Oh yeah, in a move that surprised precisely nobody.
yeah.
I think Forspoken got moved forward because that got delayed to next year, which was one of your picks, Dan.
Yeah.
But I think it got
Yep.
moved forward, but still in 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, what other stuff we got coming in October? There, No Man's Sky for the Switch.
Oh, and we've got I keep on forgetting Midnight Suns, the Marvel one from Firaxis is coming out this year.
That's going to
as
be
well.
rubbish.
I think it's going to be good. I like it.
Bayonetta 3. That's out next month.
I never finished
I'll
two.
believe it.
Mario
I'll believe it
Rabbids.
when I see it.
Oh, yeah. Mario Rabbids, I'll be getting that. Sparks of Hope.
Yeah.
I'm
I
looking
said
forward to that.
Sparks of Hope, and you said I don't
Yeah,
care.
God of War though.
Sparks of Hope.
I
But
didn't.
he said it that.
It sounded like you said Speck of Ops because you talk like a Muppet
Sparks
sometimes.
of Hope. That's how they pronounce it. That's how they all pronounced it in the Ubisoft presentation. Sparks
Oh, and now
of
you're being
Hope.
racist against the French.
Yes.
Oh, you're putting on an accent, are you,
I'm
Tim? Very nice.
Tim, this is-
Very nice.
We
For
thought
you.
better of you.
Jesus, Tim. Oh, look, I am playing a game on my Switch. My name is Tim Ibbs.
I just thought
Terrible.
I just thought it was
Bringing the
funny.
tone down of the show.
No. I thought it was particularly funny that they all pronounce it Sparks of Hop when it's a game about bunnies. I just thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm. They're not bunnies, they're rabbits.
Low-hanging fruit, Tim. Low-hanging
I
fruit.
mean, they're basically bunnies.
You know, you should respect them for the fact they speak better English and you speak French.
Yeah.
That they're making
I
an effort.
don't not
You should
respect
just
them
shame
for
them
that.
for it. I don't respect them for other reasons.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter what games are coming out this year now because Dan's gifted me a copy of Trombone Champ for me to play on my massive
Too
Deek.
right.
So that's going to keep
You
me busy for the
lucky
rest
fella.
of the year.
Use the community layout that has gyro on it.
Okay.
Excuse
Will
you?
do.
What?
All right.
Thanks, darling.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yes.
Just font.
I've
Rest on your thumbstick.
Well, I finished Monkey Island, Return to Monkey Island this week, and that is an excellent game. And it is
Yep.
still a recommend from me if you are a fan of such Monkey Island games. All the monkeys, all the islands. Lovely.
Should I play the
And I'm gonna
previous
replay
Monkey
that.
Islands before playing that one? If I don't really know the story.
I'd say play 1, 2, and 3. You don't need 4 or Telltale games.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Play the original 3. And I need to refresh my memory.
And
on
what's
anyway.
the
I think you can
best
get
way to do that, yeah.
What,
by
refresh your
giving
memory?
someone some money for a copy of the game.
Well, considering I don't
Generally
have
speaking.
access to a PC, what would you say is the best versions for me to get?
It
Switch?
doesn't sound like a me problem.
Well, that's
I
why
think
I'm asking
the
your
special-
advice.
I think it's you should on GOG.
I don't
I'm
have GOG.
fairly
He
sure
doesn't have a
they've
PC
got
to play
a
them
Mac.
on, he's saying.
No, but I think they've got a Mac client.
Oh, right, I see. And they
'Cause
are
they're
like
not-
games from 1990.
1919.
So
Yeah.
you might be all right.
Might be okay.
Tell you what, Tim.
Alternatively, you could. I think the special editions of 1 and 2 are backwards compatible on Xbox 360 to
Mhm.
Xbox Series S, so you could probably do that way.
Okay.
They're probably cheap.
Yeah.
Anywho, if you can play them on Steam in any form, then they always go to like £1.59, like really super cheap. So worth playing that.
Yeah, the Curse of Monkey Island is £1.89.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Curse of Monkey Island. Yeah, I don't know.
There
Anyway.
you go. Anywho,
Go on, Tim.
yeah, I
Have
went.
a look.
I went to EGX with Tim. Me and Tim, we went to
Yeah,
EGX. We played
we went
games
there.
at EGX.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, it went
Good.
great.
Apart
So
from the
it's over in the London Excel Centre again.
Mhm.
Still miss. It's it's an okay venue, but I really, really miss it being in Earl's Court.
It's okay.
Earl's Court was a great venue. You had the whole
Earl's Court is a great venue.
two-layer
Doesn't
thing.
exist anymore, Coleman. Let it go. Move
No,
on.
it's a distinct
And
lack of
the
Earl's
Elizabeth
Court.
line speeds up my journey now, so that's okay.
Anyway, I was going to suggest maybe like the Olympia might be a good venue because that does the whole two floor thing. And I've been to video game shows in the Olympia before, so
Yeah.
bit of a pain in the ass to get to
Slough
sometimes.
is where it should be.
Slough, it should be in Slough, and then Dan actually might come to one. But yes. Anyway, success.
I cannot afford anywhere else.
It was a successful EGX in that there were games and there were people, and not so many people to make it unbearable going. Probably because there wasn't as many headline games as you would expect at a mainline EGX. This kind of felt like a very large EGX rezzed over the actual mainline show. It was very odd.
Yeah, so from what you were saying, apart from perhaps Street Fighter 6, really it was kind of quite an indie focused show.
Yeah, you've been to EGXs before,
which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
But you know what it's like when they've got a headline game. They put these big marquees, and it's basically all the E3 stuff has made its way to London. Like they put these big marquee walls up, and with the logos and the characters and stuff. They might have someone dressed up as a character. You know, they make a big effort, big music blaring and lights and all this kind of stuff. In terms of like big marquee games, you had Call of Duty, which you couldn't play on the first day until it was after 6 p.m. because they were literally just playing the public beta and they had to wait for it to go live.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They had what's it called? Wulong Fallen Destiny.
Fallen Dynasty.
Dynasty, sorry. And that was, some people told me it's the same demo as is available on the PlayStation 5 right now. I was told it might be a slightly different demo with a different class, but otherwise same level and stuff. But I couldn't confirm that because I still haven't played the PlayStation version.
Apparently, I asked and they said that the one on the floor was a slightly easier version than the one that you had at home, and there were
Is it
more.
because they heard you coming and they need to turn on novice mode?
There were more, possibly, and there were more options for upgrade stuff in the actual home version as well. So there was actually a bit more in it. It was a bit tougher at home. So
you had Sonic Frontiers, which had like the biggest section and the most computers dedicated to it, and all that kind of stuff. And then
how's that faring?
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. I'm just talking in terms of headline games of the show.
Yeah.
You had House Flipper 2, which had a surprisingly like large queue throughout the entire time. Get to that in a moment. And then you had Street Fighter 6, which they put off way to the side away from everything else. And it was just a rope and a bog standard EGX standing flag with Street Fighter written on it. Like, no big marquee, no lights or anything, nothing to go, hey, one of the most anticipated games in this entire event is over here where we're not telling you and you have to go find it on your own. So those were the big headline games. And it's weird because, and they had Splatoon, which is already out.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I know PlayStation haven't been part of EGX for a while now. Xbox pulled out a few years back. But then there's things like the big third-party developers, like Ubisoft weren't there. I've been to an EGX where at the NEC, Ubisoft basically build a cobbled street London for the Assassin's Creed Syndicate section. You know, there was no Square Enix.
Might be because they're in London this time.
Yeah, Square Enix do big. Well, no, because I've been all the EGXs I've been to. Ubisoft are usually there to show off Assassin's Creed or Far Cry or both in some cases.
I'm being very silly.
I know you are, but yeah, no Square Enix, no Bandai Namco. Like a lot of these ones that are the big names at these shows, none of them there at all. So it was a very sparse kind of game floor. We only had one of the areas opened up, whereas I think the last time they had EGX in the Excel, they kind of opened up two different sections, so you had to keep going across the floor. It was more like the MCM Comic-Con type layout. A lot of the focus was put on the indies this year, and for good reason. It's because they had to make up the bulk of the show this year. It was very odd, but I still had a fun time. Still played lots of games.
Yeah,
so
good.
I will go through them, a few of them now. My biggest game of the show, the one that I was super hyped going into and was super hyped coming out of, was House Flipper 2.
Of course it is.
You were so happy with that.
I love it.
You know, I'm just so glad that you can now turn that light switch off and on 15 times to make sure your family doesn't die whilst on the move.
Yeah, it's good. I really enjoyed. So they've made some improvements to the game. We couldn't test everything out because it's not fully built yet. It's in a very early stage at the moment. But
there's an irony there, isn't there?
yeah. They've got a.
It's off plan.
But they've made improvements to things like, say you're painting, and in the previous game you would click and hold on a bucket of paint, and then you would click and hold on a section of the wall, and then you would paint the wall. Now you use mouse movements, or I assume joystick or touchpad movements and things to actually paint in directions. And there's little improvements like that make it much more enjoyable, and a lot of the tools are much more satisfying now. So if you go to use a sledgehammer, you to like charge up the power and and then just smash up things with it, and a lot of that was very fun. And then like the best part of it, like went and go play the game, very excited, like fill out a little survey and stuff to go, yeah, I'm very excited, I like these improvements, this needs working on, like all that kind of stuff. And then afterwards, they give us a nice little swag bag, copy of House Flipper 1 for Steam.
Nice.
Works on Steam Deek.
Works on your Deek. How is it on the Deek?
I haven't tried it yet. I've installed it. I haven't gone into that.
I think I've got it on my Deek.
I don't think you can carry over your save from Xbox, though, which is a shame because I've put a lot of time into that. I'll have to look and report back. But yeah, House Flipper 2, I am very excited for that. I'm assuming they're aiming for next year sometime. I'll happily wait for that game. It's a very good game. I really like the first one.
It certainly looks like they have given it quite a graphic overhaul by the looks of it. It looks, the trailer for House Flipper 2 looks beautiful.
Yeah, they're really shooting for the moon on the graphical style from the reveal trailer. I'm very much looking forward to that. Something that I had a kind of I've been vaguely interested in until the release date came out for Sonic Frontiers, and it matched up the same day as God of War Ragnarok, which is a terrible idea to release that on the same day. So I'll be playing this later. But yeah, I've been interested in Sonic Frontiers. I like the idea. They've gone Sonic, but open world, kind of, and gave that a go. The first time I played the demo, I went, well, this is not very fun and a little bit dull, and I didn't enjoy it. But then, because I think I ran out of games to play, and Tim hadn't played Sonic Frontiers, I went back in and skipped all the cutscenes and stuff and made a longer demo out of it, because it was a 15-minute demo, but that gets eaten up by cutscenes, tutorials.
Oh, was it a time job?
Yeah. So instead of that, I just rushed through everything so I could play the game proper, and had much more fun the second time round, although the demo itself needs a bit of polish, because there's a lot of little glitchy things popping up and screen tearing and some really bad graphical popping on that game. So I will I will play this at some point when it comes out. I won't get it on launch. I doubt I'll get this on launch. I want to get through God of War first. So I'll pick it up in a sale at some point. I hope it launches well. Sonic's a popular thing. Like, kids love Sonic still. So
the kids
still love Sonic. And
kids love Sonic,
and the scary adults love Sonic. But I'll see how it goes. I enjoyed my time playing it the second time. I had a go on Wulong. It was serviceable.
Yes,
it did feel like I was playing a Wii U game on a high spec PC. It was very odd.
Right,
we're still talking Sonic. Yeah,
I felt like I should have been holding a tablet. Yeah, Sonic.
Yeah.
Right, I'll go to Wulong. Wulong is it's a Souls-like made by Team Ninja. So, as you can expect, it's much more focused on kind of hack and slash, being much faster than other Souls-like games out there, but still keeping you got to have precise timing and parrying systems and all this kind of stuff. I sucked at it, and I played I think that was like a half an hour demo. So I took my time. I tried to get my head around it. I played like a guy who had fire powers, and you could set your swords on fire and chuck fireballs and stuff. That was all fun. I liked that, but I need to sit down with the demo at home and get my head around timing and stuff in that game, because I like the idea of it, but I really sucked at it.
I didn't play this at the show. I did play the demo at home, which is supposed to be a bit harder. But I can fully see how this is a hard demo. It's a hard game to play in a small slice of and really get the feel for, because, as you say, you really need to kind of hone in on exactly how the game needs you to play, and you need a bit of time to get used to that, to then like Dan said, he bounced off Elden Ring, and it was only when he gave it a good few hours that he got into it. And I think it might be the same with Wolong. I think that's why they've put out quite a chunky demo that you can play at home, which is available now, I think still on PS5. I really liked what I played of this, though. I really, really liked it. I thought it was demanding, and it definitely wants you to learn the systems in the game to be able to get the best out of it, but that it was rewarding enough on the back end to make that worthwhile. So, yeah, a lot of people said it was similar to Neo and a bit like Neo 3, but done a bit better. And I never played those games, but I always meant to because I do like Team Ninja, and I always meant to go back to them and play them. I think I've downloaded them a couple of times and still not got around to playing them at any point. But yeah, I might be along for the ride on this one because I really liked what I saw of the demo, basically. So yeah, intrigued. I'll keep an eye on it going forward, and I'll probably play a bit more of the demo before we actually get to release as well.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Other gamer show, Street Fighter 6, had a lot of fun with this. We played this. We got 6 matches in total, 2 rounds of 3 matches. We got to play with joypads initially, and then went back in and played with arcade sticks, which those Namcom sticks, they're a nice bit of kit for, and they're like 200 quid, so they should be a nice bit of kit.
Yeah.
But I played with one of those and went, well, I think I might get an arcade fight stick, and then looked it up online and went, I'm not getting an arcade fight stick.
How much?
Yeah. But yes, even though like the build we were playing, there's some weird screen tech tearing artifact things going on because of the build, but in itself, we played through all the characters available. We, all the Ryu and Ken and Guile and Chun-Li, but then you had the new fighters and some returning fighters.
Kimberly.
Good one.
Yeah.
Kimberly.
The streetest of street names.
Kimberly. Justin, I think, is one of them.
Wow, they are bringing it with the street-tastic, awesome, hardcore.
Oh no, it's Jamie.
Names.
Sorry, not Justin.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Even better.
Luke,
you've got
Jamie and Kimberly.
You got Luke, who's the MMA fighter, the new guy.
Yeah, he was good.
He's
I liked
the new
him.
Ryu.
Yeah, he's a bit like he's a fireball character type thing. I like that. He was good.
Yeah, and then you've got a returning character, the foot fetish girl. What's her name?
Jury. J-U-R-I.
She's my favorite now.
She
plays
very
very
good.
well.
Oh, Jury, she is a strange lady.
Yeah, I like her.
So
the
feet
kind
fireballs
of like
and dragon punches.
The big difference is
all right.
Yeah,
easy tiger.
The big difference is going in. Art style is changed. They've done kind of the classic Street Fighter fight setup, but also they've added a modern version as well, which makes it easier for newcomers to get to grips with. A lot of the style has changed. They've added like shoutcasters, which we couldn't really hear because it's a loud show floor, but I like the idea of that. I need to see more.
Yeah, I like that.
I just hope it doesn't get repetitive. But then
just set it to Japanese, it'll be fine.
When you have
can't
things
understand
like
what they're saying.
when you're in your character select screen, it's in like a back alley fight club type thing, and then when you've picked your characters, they walk down an alleyway together to go get ready to fight, and they just start trash talking each other, or it might be silent if they're a stoic kind of character.
Yeah,
and that Yuri one's really funny because like she'll like do funny movements and get in their face and take selfies and stuff and really try to wind them up. And then you can do stupid things like you get the face-to-face character select thing, and you can make them pull faces, poke tongues out, like just do really, or just go mad on all the buttons and make them look like they're having some kind of stroke, which I do on every single chance. Game itself played.
Just quick question.
Yes.
Does Ryu's smack talk involve your mum jokes? Because I would kind of hope that they would. He's always struck me as although he's stoical, secret love for the your mum jokes.
No, I think he's one of the stoic characters that doesn't really talk unless he's saying something wise to Ken or friendly.
I'll do, Ken.
I'll do.
I'll do, Ken.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Tim. I really enjoyed that game. I'm very much looking forward to Street Fighter 6 now. The improved gameplay, there's going to be something for it. It's going to stay true for people that are the absolute, mad players of this game that know how to do all the combos and have studied netcode charts and things like I need to know how to be the absolute best of this game. So it is there for those players, but also it's more kind of friendly, approachable for newcomers. a little bit more like a Tekken feel in terms of easier to pick up. Because I've always found with Street Fighter, I like the style. I used to play Street Fighter as a kid, and then when I jump into it, I go, oh yeah, I like Street Fighter, and then just lose every match and can't even beat the computer. It's like, I just can't get the hang of these combos. So it's a little bit more adaptable for newcomers.
I think it's more accessible. But then, see, something that I saw with Street Fighter on 3DS was that even as much as I'm kind of I want to do the old school buttons, and when we played, I stuck to the old school because that's what I like and what I'm used to. But on the 3DS, it meant I could use characters because that had the easy buttons for the kind of 4 of their moves it had on the touchscreen on the bottom there. So it made it really accessible, and you could customize what those moves were as well. That actually opened up more characters in the game to me than I would naturally be able to play with. Like, I don't like the charge characters as much, and depending on the version of the game, I may find like Chun-Li or Blanka more difficult to use. And so that opened up more people that I wouldn't necessarily go with, like Dulcim, for instance. He's a fireball character, but I don't tend to use him as much because I don't like the way he works in comparison to other characters. But because I could access more of his...
to slam his work ethic, dude.
There's more of his moves and stuff that I kind of open things up. And yeah, I think that, as you say, makes it more accessible. I also think the single player content's going to make the whole thing more accessible as well. And yeah, speaking of Dulcim, do we see him in that, or was I just seeing video of that beforehand?
No, you watched the video. He wasn't in the demo.
Okay. Oh, he wasn't in the demo.
I think they announced him the day before EGX.
Yes, because we had the 4 old schools and then just the 4 new ones, wasn't it? But yeah, like as you say, really enjoyed it. I like the kind of stylization that they've done with whereas before in 4 they had that kind of black and white effect from the charge up move. This kind of goes from that into like a color burst type thing, and it kind of looks a bit odd in videos, but I think it's good in practice. It flows nicely and it works well with the rest of the game, basically. But yeah, I'm even more keen than I was having seen all the stuff before, having played a bit of it. I'm definitely keen to actually play more and pick this up. Bring it on.
Cool.
Awesome.
I'm going to tear through some of these real quick. So these are the more indie type games. Hamster Playground, it's exactly as it sounds like. You have a facility with a series of hamsters that you are looking after, dressing up, naming, getting them to do little sim activities, much like The Sims. Right. You've got to get them to go to the toilet, feed them, get them entertained, make them sleep at the right time and all that kind of stuff. It's a hamster simulator. You look after hamsters. It is adorable.
And they do look like pretty awesome hamsters.
They look great. I kept going past it, that looks a really good hamster. I'm going to go play this at some point. And I enjoyed for what it was. It was silly.
All I'm going to say is you can get your hamsters a trampoline, I'm led to believe.
Yes.
All is right with the world if you can do that.
We had Kingdom Run VR, which both me and Tim played. This one is one of the British... what's the British fund called? Is it Transistor?
Yes. Transfuser.
Yeah. Transfuser, which is the British Gaming Fund. So it's money raised and paid for younger developers. So we tried... It's kind of like Temple Run in VR, but at a slower pace, and you're using swords to stab enemies and also trying to duck and avoid obstacles. I watched Tim play and laughed at him, and then tried myself and went, I'm ducking. I know I'm ducking at the right time, but it's still hitting me. I just don't think I can duck properly. My knees don't allow for it these days. I think this is the problem.
Old man gaming, it's the best.
It is. River Tales Stronger Together. I thought that was interesting. It's a local player co-op game, which is a 3D platformer where one of you plays as a fish, one of you plays as a cat. So the cat can only stay on land, the fish can only stay in water, and then between you, you have to communicate together, help each other with obstacles, open gates. For instance, if you're playing as the fish, then you will see lily pads, which the cat can jump on. So you have to go and raise them to the surface so the cat can jump on them. And then there's a lot of timing, platform trial type things going on. I really enjoyed that one. I think I frustrated the guy I was playing with as we kept doing the same thing wrong again and again and again. He's like, okay, it was good playing with you. I'm gone now. Yeah, I get it. But it was fun.
Yeah, I
Looked
suck.
cool.
It's fine.
Looked cute. What else did we have? We had Planet of Lana, which is another one of my games of the show. It's basically a kind of a Flashpoint or another world, more in line with another world than Flashpoint type game. It's a 2D
Very nicely
platformer
stylized.
puzzler.
Flashback, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, beautifully stylized 2D platform puzzle game, which has a lot more emphasis on puzzles. You're on an alien planet and you have like a little kind of shadow alien creature that resembles a cat that is along for the ride with you and helps you with all your puzzles. And I really, really enjoyed that one. I look forward to playing that more.
Definitely
Another
look at that.
game that I look for, one that I've been playing outside of the show because I picked up the demo straight away, is The Last Hero of Nostalgia or Nostalgia. It's not Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
I think it's Gia.
The little jus de mots.
Anyway,
there.
I like the premise of this. This is another Souls-like, another medieval type of Souls-like with sword, shield, roll, all that kind of stuff. Where this game differs is when you start and it boots you into the character select screen. It is a video game and the character select screen has corrupted. So when you start the game, you're like a stick figure kind of frame character, which they've been lovingly dubbed as Sticky at the show. And because you're...
How original.
Well, yeah,
they
because
must have
you're
been up for hours thinking of that.
Because you're meant to be the hero of the game, people are waiting for this amazing hero, and when this stick figure turns up, they mock you. Like there's a narrator for the game that's mocking you, all the NPCs are mocking you, but you're trying to play through. I really like that idea, and I've been playing through the demo a few times since I got home as well. But that's a good one to look out for. Last Worker, which I think is out very soon. This is a first-person story game, lots of puzzles to it, big narrative-heavy type thing. I tried this on the Switch at first, and though it performs very well on the Switch, I had to go switch to PC because there was like weird texture things that I wasn't getting along with on the Switch. But it is impressive that it's running on the Switch. But this is also meant to be a VR game as well, but you don't have to play it in VR. You can do it in either. But I enjoyed that one. Good comedy to that. But I like the premise as well. You're the last human working in basically the Amazon warehouse that is staffed by robots. I like that idea. Wordless, that was really cool. It looked kind of like a Castlevania, or if all the attacks were turn-based combat and all the art style was, hey, this is in the stars. And everything's kind of like a star map, and I really enjoyed that one as well. I need to check to see if there's a demo available for that one because I want to play more of it. Skier Ritual, that is a sort of semi-sequel to Skier something or other, which was I can't remember the full name of the game, sorry, which was a kind of stealth first-person survival horror type game. This time they've just gone full-on multiplayer first-person shooter, 18 rated, lots of blood and gore and stuff. You can play it in a single mode where it's like a lot of challenge attacks and things, but I liked the gameplay of that I like the way that one felt. There was another game as well which I completely forgot to write down, but there was a kind of sci-fi shooter that played like new Doom in the setting of old Doom, and I've completely forgot the name of it. It's just come out as well.
Recently. I saw this recently. I almost picked it up. What is it? I'm going to load up Steam.
Yeah,
Have a hunt.
it's on my wish list. I know that, but I really liked that when you play that game, it's so violent and bloody that they've added a button for you to wipe the blood off of your visor in the game because it's just too gory, and I like that function.
Nice.
We'll come back to that if Dan can find the name.
Yeah,
Guardians Frontline was another VR game. Stylistically, it looked very kind of Halo 2 era multiplayer. I thought it had that kind of tone to it.
More recently, it very much reminded me of Farpoint on PSVR. Like that was the one that came with the gun thing as well, basically. But yeah, that was all right.
I remember. I wasn't so impressed with it, but I think that was kind of the headset. They gave me the headset, and I went, "Hey, the lenses are fogged up." And then he took the thing off me and tried to polish them up. And I was like, "No, they're still like really smudged. Could you?" And he did it a third time, and they were still smudged. And I went, "Yeah, sure, that's great." So I was playing with smudged lenses the entire time. But also,
you little hero, you.
I know. Not all heroes wear capes, my friend. And he kept trying to, I think he was having a conversation with someone next to him while he was trying to explain the game to me. So I didn't know when he was explaining to do something. And a lot of times he was like tapping me going, no, do that. And I was like, I just wasn't having much fun with it. Yeah.
I thought it was all right. Like, it was a kind of defend an area type thing, gunplay. I thought it was okay.
Shoot
like,
big alien bugs.
Wasn't massively impressed, but like, I'll keep an eye on it and see if it, gets developed well, basically.
I wasn't fully in for VR at the show, having just come out of a pandemic. But then eventually I went, I've pretty much played everything. I should play a couple of VR games while I'm here.
I was surprised how much VR stuff there was, actually. I guess
all
it's
indie
good
stuff
to show things off in VR, basically.
There was a very popular VR game which we never got to play because it was just constantly rammed with queues. But it's a 4-on-4 kind of mixed reality game where you're kind of chucking. It's kind of like 4-player tennis, but with energy balls and blasts and stuff. And that looked fun to watch people play, but I have no idea what it was called or how it played itself. But it looked amazing. I'd like to try that if I ever see that at an event again.
Fast travel games were there with a few things. The Guardians you just mentioned, a couple of other games I didn't get to play, and one called Everslaw Invasion, which was a kind of sword-based arena type thing, but it had like co-op. Had some like things to get used to, but I quite liked them when it did. It had like a wrist control where if you swiveled your wrist so that the kind of inside of your wrist was facing upwards, you had a hook that you could fire up to things to kind of get up to higher levels. And if you twirled it back round the other way, you had a gun on the other side that you could shoot from as well. And then generally you were picking up swords and axes and stuff and hacking things off. And it's kind of waves of enemies. I quite like the fact that, they had a thing where if you do get downed when you're on the floor, you can stick your arm up and then your co-op partner can come up and actually put their arm out to pick you up and get you up again, which was quite a cool mechanic. For VR, I thought that worked well for a co-op game in VR. That was okay. Like, again, I'll have to see how it works out in how well it gets developed and how kind of much they work on the idea. But I like the basic premise of what they were showing, basically. So I'll be interested to see how that works out. Both games, they didn't necessarily say was coming to PSVR 2, but they did say that there will be other formats in the future, but they were being shown off on MetaQuest 2s, basically. So I also got to play a little thing called Space Salvage, I think it was.
Scathe was the game I was trying to think of, Dan.
You beat me to it.
Excellent game, terrible title.
Scathe.
And a little bit of homework for you for next week, Dan. Try out the demo
I'm not here next week, mate.
Oh, yeah, sorry, for 2 weeks from now. Try the demo for Gory Cuddly Carnage. Hack and slash, where you have a sentient hoverboard and you play as an adorable cat.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Gory.
So there's your homework for next time.
Yes, sir.
All in all, it wasn't the kind of big EGX I was expecting. I didn't even look at any of the games going in. I kind of wanted to. This is the first time I didn't go as press. I just bought a ticket because I wanted to go and experience, actual play some games and not run around and schmooze and start and do all the stuff that we're usually doing. I just wanted to go and have some fun. Schmooze.
I don't think we've ever schmoozed.
Oh, we've schmoozed,
I think Tim goes away and lightly annoys some of the great and good of the video games industry.
Yeah, but now he actually plays some games as well.
Yeah.
I remember the days where I used to do that.
Yeah. Still had fun. Cut it short. I didn't go for the fourth day because I think I've got everything I need to out of the 3 days I was there. But it did really think like you could have turned up. If you turned up at opening and left at closing, you could have played everything in a day if the queues were kind to you. I
definitely had enough to film my 2 days I was there, but I would have liked to have spent more time.
And they had enough of you too, Tim.
Had more games I could have played.
Anywho, that is all the games we played this week.
Yeah, we did. So that's your lot. I think we're out of time. So,
yes.
Tim, do you need to remind people that Tuesday is a Tuesday and was a Tuesday and continues to be a Tuesday?
I do indeed. We had a blinder of a game last week, so it's a shame. Coleman was not aware of this going in, but we had.
That's what happens when you don't tell me.
I didn't know to tell you in advance, But yeah, we had Meeple Land, which was a really good game. And yeah, it was a game about making fun fairs and stuff. It was very good. This week, yeah, we're actually doing something simple and basic. We're going back to basics on this one, but something to have some fun with. We are having an Uno tournament. So yeah, like Uno, again, a lot of people know.
Turn your cameras off, please.
Especially, well, yeah, we're not playing on Xbox 360. Was that one when that came out? I think that was.
No, it was.
Yeah.
Xbox Live.
But yeah, not playing on Xbox 360 and Xbox Live, but yeah, playing in real life with cards. And we're going to have a stupid little tournament and a quick little tournament, and the prize will be a copy of Uno. So yeah, like something a little bit different this week.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Something that we decided to do just a little bit different. That should be a good one to come along for. If anyone doesn't know, Tabletop Tuesday, we do a different feature game every week. If you play that feature game normally, you get a chance to win. Obviously, we're doing things a little bit differently this week. But if you want more details, you can get more details on the top left-hand corner of Big Red Barrel. Or on Meetup, you can join our over 2,000 people in our Meetup group and search for Tabletop Tuesdays on meetup.com.
Tabletop Tuesday at Loading Bar in Stoke,
At Loading.bar.
Newington.
Yes.
Do you know what you should also do?
What's that?
While you're waiting for Tuesday to turn around, you should go to tpublic.com/store/BRB and buy yourself some sweet merch.
Yeah.
Merch.
What
Exchange
merch
rate
should we
is
buy, Dan?
kind of making that bad right now, but yeah.
Don't go there. Save Tim money. No, you should go there. And you should buy things with my face on it, is what you should do.
Yes.
Ooh.
Mugs.
It's just a suggestion because you can buy things with my face on it.
This has
Good.
Bleezy's artwork on
Bit
it.
of mask.
Bleezy,
put
who
in
was
your
here
face.
last week.
Thank you, Bleezy.
Thanks, Bleezy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go there. tpublic.com/store/BRB.
No questions this week. It was more EGX focused this week. But I will say, if you want to send us a question, then you can do so by going to the comment section of bigredbarrel.com. You can go to our Discord, which is linked at bigredbarrel.com. You can find us on Facebook or Twitter at Big Red Barrel, and you can find us on YouTube, Big Red Barrel TV. Also, all of those links are available in the show notes, where they will take you directly to any of those methods that I have just described. And while we're in the end of the show, even though we don't have questions, we don't have reviews to go through, please review the podcast. Do want to say a quick shout out to the Gamers Confessional podcast. We met a couple of the boys from there over EGX as well, Vimesy and Pet. Nice guys.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Gamers Confessional. Have at it.
Go listen to their podcast. Do ours first, and then listen to theirs.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you said do ask to listen to theirs. It's like I didn't know you need to answer.
No, I
It's a
said
very British
do
way
us.
of doing
We're all
podcasts.
very lonely.
Excuse me, I'm terribly sorry. Could you possibly pipe your audio into my head? Would that be okay? Lovely, thanks.
Please, sir,
Sorry,
may I have some more audio?
Yes. Anyway, we're going to go now. So thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting our merch site. Thank you if you left a review after hearing all of this. And all that's really left, quite frankly, is for me to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
I've been Coleman, and the arm I had my flu shot with earlier is really starting to throb, and also that sounds pretty chaotic. So I've been Chaos.
Well done, you brave little soldier.
I am a brave little soldier.
You are a brave little... Both you and Tim are brave little soldiers this week.
No.
They stuck a thing in me.
Oh, she gave you a little plaster.
That's it. It bled like a mother.
Really?
Yeah.
A plaster that size is not hitting an artery, dude.
Oh, no. Mate,
you.
would have killed a normal human.
Would it? Right.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank God for your superpowers.
Would have downed
eh?
3 elephants.
Yeah. All right. You rough, tough hunk of manliness. Let's
That's me.
leave our listeners back to their brain. So, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarrel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarrel.com.
don't know if you guys know this, but putting your hand up on a podcast is not a good way to ask a question. The best way to ask a question is to go over, stop it. I can see you putting your hands up at the corner of my eye. The best way.
I have a
Go on,
question
then.
too. What's the best way to ask a question on a podcast?
That